Evening, guys. Hello, how's everybody? What's happening? Time to do some hobbying tonight. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh yeah, chat. Where's chat? Hello, chat. How's everybody? Rezio, good evening. Ozzy, good evening. How are you doing? I feel like I've looked out some models, but I haven't looked at any bases because I have no brain cells, apparently. Alright, I need to get a base. I was looking in this Leviathan box. Apparently I got way too many models still in that Leviathan box. I must have put all the bases into another box, that's why I didn't look any out. Ah, here we go. Size base is a biologist on. A 40. That's a 40. Right. Have you got those stupid little feet things? Yeah. Okay, cool. I also haven't built a bunch of shit out this Augustus box either. Thing is, I already got 5 heavy intercessors. I'm not sure why I need 5 more. So what's happening tonight, guys? Everyone well? Everyone, Eugene, what's happening? Burgosaur, it's been a little while. How are you? So I'm gonna build a biologist because I was trying to think, like, what if I actually built? I built my ballistus dreadnoughts. I do actually kind of like that ballistus dreadnought, but I think apart from the ballistus dreadnoughts, I don't think I've built anything else out of this Leviathan box, and I actually get 2 Leviathan boxes. It's weird. All these pieces are labeled like with the letter C, but I don't see a C anywhere on the sprue. Like I'm just supposed to know it's sprue C. Where does it tell you it's sprue C? Not that big a deal, but I mean, I guess if you didn't know what you're doing, you're like looking around for sprue C, like where the hell is sprue C? I looked for a few minutes. Better get the base right or GW get mad. I mean, it's more likely that the tournament organizer would get mad. Alright, C1. So it's a bit strange that they have like number 2 here, number 3, 4, 5, but no 1. Where the F is number 1? Right, number 1. I get there's being efficient, but there's also putting number 1 on this. Alright, someone who's done the biologist, where's number 1? It's not on this sprue, is it? I'll need 5 anyway. Did anyone give the biologist a custom head as well? They'll say, what's the headpiece they recommend? It's this one? There's like a Gravis headpiece with a little targeter thing on it. Did anyone give the biologist his own Blood Angels type head? Anyone do that? James says, only hobby I've done today is some metal minis. Well, don't feel too bad. It's midnight. I haven't done any hobby. I've been playing a little bit of that new Final Fantasy game on my phone. I've been looking after the kids. I've been doing a bunch of video editing. I'm trying to put all my like kids holiday video, like all the videos from when I took the kids on holiday together and all the photos and all that. So I haven't done anything today. Oh well, I mean, I went to the gym for like 2 hours, so I guess I'll get that. So yeah, it happens though. Sometimes it's late at night for me to be starting, but yeah, I actually wasn't really caring about this biologist, but like everybody keeps telling me like you gotta try aggressors with a biologist. And probably like a librarian dreadnought, so you can just teleport them in. So I'm gonna listen to the masses, and I'm gonna try it. I'm still not convinced, but I'm willing to try it. And I mean, I've got, like I said, I got 6 bolter aggressors. I've had them for the longest time. I've not used them for the longest time. I think I got I bought my aggressors so long ago that when I bought the aggressors, there was actually a... Do you remember when... It must have been right at the start of the 8th edition. They did, like, sets for, like, Blood Angels. So you would get, like... You would actually get a box that was, like, Blood Angels Hellblasters, or Blood Angels Intercessors, or Blood Angels Aggressors. So I actually bought my aggressors way ages ago, when they actually had a box, like it was Blood Angels aggressors. It wasn't just like aggressors like we have now. That's how long ago I had my aggressors, and that's how long they've sat and done nothing, I guess. Alright, I think I've taken off all the pieces. 7, 6, 10, 11, 12, 8, 9, 2, 3. So I haven't taken off the head piece, and I haven't found piece 1. Oh, 1's down here. Okay, it's just... There it is. I was being blind before. DTM, how you doing, dude? You having a good Saturday? The biologist is a good combo right now. But how often such things last? Yeah, I mean, well, I guess it'll last for 3 months because they just did the 1 data slate, right? And they kind of, I think they already nerfed what they thought was the broken combo with the biologist. I'm not sure anyone's doing a Blood Angels combo. Oh, I need to finish my Dante as well. It's I've been slacking on Dante. Do you know what? I paint things when they're competitive, and I just don't think Dante's that competitive. Some people have been getting good luck with them. Like when I look at them on paper, though, I just don't like them, I guess. If you're making them work, though, more power to you. I mean, I guess I just have to persevere, and eventually I will like him, right? Serenade, hello, how you doing? Yeah, when they used to put the upgrade sprue in the box as well, that was nice, wasn't it? That lasted for like the shortest amount of time ever. I don't know why they stopped doing that. Like, I guess maybe, well, they probably just didn't sell as well, or they would end up... Yeah, I mean, it just probably didn't make sense for them, but I liked it. You even got some like aggressor specific shoulder pads on that upgrade sprue when it was the box of aggressors. So yeah, it was cool. I liked it. Smithy, what's happening? Good evening. It works with both 6 aggressors just as well as heavy intercessors, so I'm painting my second one. Well, once I've made this biologist, I'm not going to be spraying him tonight because it's like 10 o'clock here, but I'll get them sprayed during the day tomorrow. Once I've made the biologist, I'm going to start putting a little bit more. I'm going to basically put a second color on my heavy intercessors because I started them the other night. I gave them 2 coats of red, so they're ready to get a little bit more color. I'm going to give heavy intercessors a... Can you take heavy intercessors as a 10? Does anyone take them as a 10? Peter says, I heard the codex leak. But on the plus side, perhaps the future for a melee faction. I didn't hear anything about a leak, but like I said, I've been doing kids stuff with my kids all day today. Has anyone else heard about leaks? I looked at the email that they sent this morning about pre-orders, and I think it was actually Orcs that was on the pre-orders this morning. Yeah, I've kind of just been doing stuff for the kids all day, so I haven't really followed it. If there is 40k news today, I've missed it. Reziel hasn't got a new Dante yet because you'll need to modify him pretty heavily. I want to do a conversion with the second new Dante I have at some point. I just haven't figured it. You know, I say that, but maybe I'll figure out, like, I was gonna do a charity raffle at some point. I just haven't got round to it. I feel like there's a lot of things I haven't got round to. I just feel like I'm always busy, man. I'll get to it. Maybe I'll give away Dante with the charity raffle, because I've got one of those, I've got one of those limited edition books, like the, you know, whatever you call it, the limited edition Black Library. Yeah, that's right. Brain's not working tonight. Limited edition Black Library books. I've got a limited edition Sanguinary one, which I was planning on raffling, maybe for charity at some point. So maybe I'll throw in a Dante and it'll make the raffle a little bit more exciting. I don't know if I need a... Oh, Auspex put up a video about marine leaks. Okay. I kind of said to myself last edition, and I don't know, I mean, I might make a video on leaks, because here's the thing, making the videos on the leaks gets a lot of views, because everybody wants to know the leaks. The problem with making the video on the leaks is half the time you make the video on the leaks and the very next day it turns out the leak was a bunch of bullshit and that was a complete waste of your time. It was a waste of my time making the video, it was a waste of everybody's time who watched the video. So I guess, like, if I see the leaks and it's like data sheets or scans from a book and I think they're 100% legit, maybe I'll make a video. But like if it's some random guy posting on Reddit that's like, hey, this is the leaks that's coming, because I think that was it. I think I did a video on leaks that were just like a random post on Reddit, and it was just complete fabrication. Like none of it turned out, and like I felt like that was a waste of my time. Oath's getting changed to reroll hits. I mean, it is very good at the moment. If Oath gets changed to reroll hits, then the Thunderstrike suddenly becomes a lot better. I've been telling you guys, Thunderstrikes are good. Thunderstrike will be even better. The Auspex video was leaking the general Discord. Well, yeah, like I said, if it's real data sheets, great. If it's just some random guy posting Reddit, I guess that's it. Dwayne says, evening surf, just finished. Sorry. Finishing my first unit since January, closing off a valve replacement. Wow. Sometimes it takes, like, I remember, like, I can't, honestly, I think I finished like 4 units in the run up to 10th edition, and since 10th edition has come out, which was like July, I haven't finished a single unit. I'm always busier in the summer. Like, I get 2 kids, they always want to do shit all summer, so, you know, I'll get more units finished over the winter, and hopefully now that the 10th edition data slate has had a little time to settle, people know what units they can build without fear of them. Because, I mean, I started building Desolation Marines, that was a huge waste of time, right? We should have all, well, I kind of knew when Desolation Marines came out. I was like, there's no way this is going to last, they're too good. But I built them anyway, like the sucker that I am, right? It's a random guy, no pictures. Well then, I think I'll just wait. The leaks are basically Oath gets nerfed to hits only. The fist attachment is every weapon counts as heavy, and those that are already heavy get +1 to wound. Every weapon counts as heavy. I'm trying to think if that's better than the doctrines. I mean, if tanks are really good, then that synergizes nicely with tanks, right? I was going to say, is Marines' win rate good enough to reliably need to nerf Oath of the Moment? It'll be funny if they nerfed Oath of the Moment as well, because they made such a big deal at the start of 10th edition about, like, you remember when Marines were really underpowered, like all last edition, and like everyone was really upset, like Marines suck, da 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 da. And then they were like, made a huge big deal, like, Oath of the Moment, this is going to make Marines good again, you know, like, this is what Marines needed. They're going to be able to select one unit and do a bunch of damage. Oath of the Moment should have probably been one unit in your army can reroll hits and wounds. Probably shouldn't have been like, pick an enemy and get reroll hits and wounds, right? It should have been like, you pick one unit and basically, like, kind of how like Morgan Val would do it, or kind of a bit like Chapter Master rerolls. Like, maybe the problem with Oath of Moment was, like, it was badly conceived. Like, your whole army can reroll all hits and wounds. Whereas if it had just been one unit, it would have probably been... It would have still been strong, but probably, like, people wouldn't have been so upset about it, maybe. What Ball Predator spec would you go with? I'd go with a Flamer on the Flamestorm Cannon on top and Heavy Bolters on sides, because I don't know if I really think Heavy Flamers are all that useful. The White Scars Detachment rule seems fun if you run a lot of bikes and speeders. What is the White Scar Detachment, Smithy? I could see it as it'll be a huge feel-bad moment, especially like I said, to make a big deal about Marines being underpowered for a whole edition, basically, and that they were gonna... Oath of Moment was gonna be the... I don't want to say it's going to be the catalyst, but it was going to be the big thing that was going to fix Marines and make them super competitive again, and now what? It's going to be gone already? Didn't get to last very long, did it? Did I forget to cut off one of this guy's legs? I think I did. Um, 7 and 8. Did I literally miss his leg? No, I cut it off, so where the hell did I put it? That's an arm. That's a bit of an arm. That's an arm. Oh, that's another leg. Okay. I think I've lost a bit. Oh no, I didn't. I did miss a bit. Okay. Didn't cut off bit 6. 6 goes on... somewhere. Oh, 6 goes on this leg with the holster. Alright, that's right. And then this one over here. Cool. Move plus advance plus charge. And also go out of melee and charge back in again. So move, advance and charge and fall back and charge. Is that not what they had before, basically? But, what, you can only do it on bikes? Evening Eternal Crusader. Got some serious kit bashing supplies from a NID, so I'm working on that. Nice. How have you been finding NIDs? You been winning at all? I only played NIDs once this edition, and I stomped all over them, so I'm assuming that Miles' list just wasn't optimized and I need to play them again, and it was like an outlier. It was like his list just wasn't prepared to deal with mine. I like the Marines had a strong rule to fall back on, but I do think Oath was lazy rules writing. Yeah, I think it should have been probably just one unit in your army. Having your whole army get the buff is probably too strong. Like, you know, because if it's like one of your tanks rerolls all hits and wounds, that's still pretty good. But if it's like every tank rerolls all hits and wounds till you kill a thing, and with Guilliman you can then just move Oath to another unit. Guilliman actually probably makes Oath imbalanced in a way, you know that? God damn it, Rebute. Marius will be in the chat in a second saying, how dare you hate on Rebute. I was like, well, you're unbalancing the whole game for us, Rebute. But hey, we'll get the codexes soon enough, won't we? What's happened here? My glue is broken. Nice. How is that broken? Don't say did it get too hot and it broke. I have another one. I can probably fix. I'll probably have to just fix this glue then, I guess. Duct tape. Weird. You know what? I'm gonna. Is there glue in here? Hold on. Oh, yeah, there's shitloads of glue in there. At the end of the day, Oath is color around the Marine data sheet since they all have to be balanced with Oath rerolls in mind. I guess that's a good point, right? You remove Oaths and all the data sheets were balanced around Oath. If it's one guy in Reddit, I guess we shouldn't even discuss it. We shouldn't read too deep into it because typically always what happens is those... I mean, sometimes this one random guy in Reddit's right, but for the most times it's like... It's just some random guy... I don't know, back in just one second, I'm gonna grab some duck. I don't know how the top of the glue split off like that. It served me well, this glue. Yeah, sure it has, but I bet you with a bit of duct tape it'll serve me for another 6 weeks, 6 months, maybe even. We'll see. I'm sure I've got another one, so I'll throw it away if I have to. Let's find out if it'll work. Things coming. Maybe it's dead. Alright, it's dead. It has served me well, this one. I've never seen it split at the top like that before. I think it must have been like the weather? I guess. Like, did it get super hot in here? I mean, we did have some crazy heat waves. Andrew says the apothecary biologist, I like the model. What's your thoughts on the flamer aggressors? I've got 6 with a Gravis captain and they seem a bit meh. Everyone's been telling me that the bolter flamers is the way to go, Andrew. Bolter flamers with the biologist, and I assume bolter discipline. So that's what I'm going to be trying. Have I got any tournaments coming up? Yeah, Marty, I've got one. I think it's like the 12th of November. So maybe just slightly less than 2 months. It's like it'll be like a 20 or 30 person GT probably. I'm gonna say this. Is this one gonna work? It's not my night with glue apparently. I think this is new. Just lying in a drawer. Sounds like there's glue in there. The biologist only works on bolters, so flamers are wasted on them. Oh yeah, because they auto hit, right? Michael says, evening, with the Space Marine Codex coming out soon, do we think the Blood Angels Index card will receive an online update, i.e. Dante being able to lead jump intercessors? I think you probably will see some sort of update to to unit pairings and stuff like that if there is new units. God damn it, what's up with the glue tonight? This is a joke. Right, this one's in cardboard, so this must be new.
Aussie Master Beta donated $10 via Super Chat. G'day back. For competitive Space Marines, do you think it's better to play Successor and play whatever chapter is strong, or stick to one chapter and get in the reps?
Oh, that's a good question. Thank you so much for the $10. I mean, there's definitely an argument to be said that at certain times in the meta, there will be a chapter that's crazy strong. Usually it's fucking Iron Hands, isn't it? So, like, you could argue that, like, at some point, it almost feels like every single, I was gonna say, every single edition, at some point, Iron Hands are just monsters to have to deal with. Gilliman was really good last edition as well, so I mean there's definitely something to be said about going after the strongest one. I think the other thing you could say though is always there's an advantage to just sticking with what you know. I almost think that, like, well, I beat a lot of my friends in our current meta, and I beat a lot of my friends when Blood Angels aren't the best in the meta, or even just in general, I feel like. So I think you have to almost decide that for yourself, right? Like, I prefer sticking with one, because I think if you stick with one, and I probably also prefer sticking with, like, just a limited number of units, right? Like, if you use the same units week in, week out, you kind of get a feel for, like, what they'll do in certain situations and that sort of thing. That's why, like, when I change my army list, I try not to, like, change every single unit. Like, you know, like, iterate on, like, 1 or 2 models or 1 or 2 units. Like, keep 80% of your army list the same week on, week out. Even if you get beat massively, don't just throw the whole list away. Keep like 80% of it and just change a small amount of it out and work around that. But then, I mean, I've went to tournaments with units that were not big in the meta and people didn't think would do well, and I've done fine. So based on that, like, there's definitely something to be said about, like, if you're familiar with something, that probably outweighs any like I wouldn't go to a tournament with Iron Hands having, like, played 2 games with him. Evening, Mike, how are you? Evening, Felix. Like, I would rather go to a tournament with, like, my 15 games on my average Blood Angels list than, like, 2 games on Iron Hands, because I think Iron Hands are strong right now. Because if I go to a tournament in that situation, I'm probably going to forget a bunch of my rules, right? Because, like, I've only had 2 games with them, so I'm probably forgetting loads of rules. So yeah, I think that my personal opinion of that is, like, stick reasonably well with what you know. Go for it, Painting. Good evening. How are you doing? You can clear the cement needles with a lighter. I just don't know if I have a lighter in here right now. Just do it over a sink or something in case it catches fire. Iron Hands have no lore, but they give them meta buffs to make up for it. Yeah, well, they just give the whole army a 6-up Feel No Pain. And then, I think last edition, their vehicles basically didn't get profiled down until they're, like, on 2 wounds left or something ridiculously low, so... But I mean, the good thing about it now is you can just play Gladius. So you can be Blood Angels. And you can just do Gladius for the most part. So then it really just comes down to which custom character do you want or do you not want. Because that's your only limitation, right? So this Gravis helmet, this has got this sort of typical, I guess, like the Gravis backplate. So I am going to just use the standard head for this guy after all. Do you know if don't know if anyone has told you this already, Pull the metal tube carefully out with pliers, then heat them with a lighter, still holding with pliers, and let it pop back in. Yeah, you don't even need to do that, Jones. You can honestly heat it while it's still attached. Just do it over your sink or something like that. Just run a hot flame along that, and it'll unblock it in like a few seconds. I've done it a bunch of times before. But thank you for the advice. Yeah, it's good advice. Blood Angels can be Iron Hands this edition. I mean, anyone can be Iron Hands, I guess, this edition, right? I hope that the new detachments give us some better options, but I guess we'll, you know, if there's leaks out already, I guess we'll see very soon what better options we might get. Oh, good evening, how you doing? Smithy cut the Gravis helmet off so you could paint behind it. Oh, I'm not that serious, Smithy. I'll just lodge a big blob of paint in behind it and hopefully it'll look okay. Auspex did a video on some leaks, yeah, but I don't think there's any data sheets. It sounded like the leaks are just some random guy with leaks. So I'll wait until I see some data sheets or until I see something a bit more concrete, I guess. Maybe, you know, maybe he's right. But I guess I'll wait. Which way should this guy's head be facing? Left. Okay. A little bit left. I figure this, I don't know what this little thing is here, but if you don't push his head left, then it's gonna be hard to paint his head with that thing there. I mean, the gap Smithy is so small, I don't know how. I'm just gonna wedge a bunch of paint in behind him. I might not even bother, I might just spray it. The Codex will have 8 detachments. I heard the rumor was going to be that the Codex was going to have 6 detachments, but I don't really know. I like the siege detachment for the Blood Angels tank force. What's the siege detachment? Tell me. Is that the one where everything gets heavy and you get extra AP? I'm not sure I always love these models where I think I bet his foot just broke off there. Yeah, I think so. Okay, that was random. His foot wasn't flush to the ground, so I tried to pull his foot back off. And it broke. Alright, well, his foot will be flush to the ground now, I guess. Seven detachments. My old friend. What's up, John? You ever read The Revere by Peter? I don't know how you say that. It's about Blood Angel's successor chapter. I have not read that book. Blood Angels book-wise, I've read like the 4 books about Dante. and the Lamarta's books. So I think I've read 5 Blood Angels novels. There's probably a lot more. I did buy Blood Quest, which is the visual... It's basically like, it's like the Walking Dead books. You call it... Is it a visual novel? It's basically a comic book. So I bought Blood Quest, both parts of it, on the re-release. Like, they did a re-release of Blood Quest in colour. So I have that, and then I've read the 5 other books. I started the Mephiston one. Honestly, I found it quite tough going. I need to try again. I was like 3 chapters in. Sometimes you get that with 40k books, though. Sometimes just push fit him on the base. It makes it easier. Well, he's there now. First company. So what did the first company get then? They must have buffs for Terminators, right? Well, Terminators and potentially Blade Guard, because Blade Guard are first company. Blood Quest is so good it'll make you nostalgic for the old editions. Yeah, I don't read as much as I used to. I probably, like, since I've had kids, I've barely read any books. Like, a lot of the books I do now are audiobooks. Just hard to find the time and the peace and quiet. Like, you can't even watch the telly with the kids without getting interrupted constantly, so... I don't think I've read a book, like an actual novel since I've had kids. I've read it, I've like done a lot of books on Audible, but no, actually just sitting down and reading a book. Terminator's Blade Guard. Well, yeah, I mean, like, but what's the buff? Like, what? How have they? Like, the detachment must have a buff, right? For Terminators and Blade Guard and whatever else is in First Company these days. Gladius will be included in the 7. I hope so. I like the Gladius detachment. I think it's a good sort of generic one that works for everybody. Well, I think it'll be a great thing to just have some more options, though, for Blood Angels. Right? Even if we end up still playing Gladius or whatever, it'll be good to have some more options. It's a weird join on that arm, actually. You know, there's like, you were talking about there'd be no space behind his helmet, Smithy? There's like no space between this like canister he's holding and those power packs on his legs or something, like in there, but like use my knife to point out, like in there, like there's no space for painting in there whatsoever. That's ridiculous. I kind of hate it when they make the model like that, where it's like one of its arms is like super flush to the model, and it's like, yeah, you're gonna just have a shit job, a shit time painting that. Like, okay, great. Oh well. We'll do the best we can. Not the pipes. I hate attaching pipes. Yeah, I mean, they didn't leave any space between those pipes and the container thing he's holding, that's for sure. Andonius is painting the canister separately. Well, I've got another one, so I mean, I could make the other one. I just want to get this one done and get him on the tabletop, so we could do the other one in parts, but honestly, anytime I end up trying to paint in parts, I end up just throw it, you know. I'm not very good at sub-assemblies. I always find when I do sub-assemblies that like I just destroy a bunch of my painting when I finally sub-assemble them, so I just don't bother anymore. The only ever Gravis Marine you did, you just clipped the pipes off. I mean, why not? Why not? If that's what you want to do, may as well do it, eh? I totally jacked up an Eradicator arm and sub-assemblies. Yeah, no, I've totally jacked up models and sub-assemblies, which is why I probably just don't do as many sub-assemblies as I possibly should. But also, here's the thing that I used to like, is I used to just have a table in my living room with loads of Warhammer models on it. And it was like every day after work I would come home and I would just work on some Warhammer models, and I didn't have to tidy up at the end of the day, right? Like, you know, like sometimes we had a coffee table in the living room. Sometimes that coffee table could have like 30 Warhammer models on it and a bunch of paints, and it was all just left out all the time. Like, I never ever tidied it up. And then I had kids, and then everything had to be tidied up. Like, going from not having anything tidied up to fully tidied up all the time. And then, you know, much harder to do sub-assemblies when you gotta put everything away, I guess. I've kept my painting table that I used to have in my living room. It's over there near my door in this room, and it's been there for like 4 years. At some point when my kids can be trusted, I'm going to get it back. And I'll just have my Warhammer stuff set up, like, in the living room all the time. For the moment, though, if anything's left out, it just gets destroyed. Really annoying. Because when everything was left out all the time, it was like my the amount of models I got done every week was just so much more high, because it was like you'd just jump on and do half an hour here or half an hour there. It was good. God, there's going to be a lot of pipes on these Gravis guys for painting, though, isn't there? Any tips for going to your first tournament? Got my first in November. Try and sort your list like a month before you go, and then try and get as many games with that list as quickly, or like as many games you can with the list that you're going. Like, know your list inside out. Then the other thing I would do is print out any cards or anything that you need to remember. Like, you know, like, so you don't want to go through, you don't want to forget that you need to select an Oath of Moment target or something like that. Like, you should almost have yourself a little checklist. I do actually have a checklist for channel members that you can download, so it's like an edition out of date. I guess I need to update it for 10th edition, but do you know what, I'll maybe try and do that this week, because I updated like some of my other cards just last week for 10th edition. So yeah, I would print out some cards for things that you need to remember. I'd also take like loads of drinks and snacks with you, because I've been to tournaments before where they said like they'd provide food, and then they've like the food's run out because your game ran over, or maybe just, I don't know, something that's weird about me that maybe other people don't feel that other people don't feel this. I don't think soup is a meal. Like, if you said to me, what do you want for lunch? Would you like a bowl of soup? I would say, no, that's not a meal. That's a soup, it's like a drink, right? Like, so like I've been to tournaments before where like they said lunch is provided and it's like a bowl of soup. I was like, I'm gonna be hungry after I eat soup. Like, it's liquid. It's not food. Other people, I mean, I'm sure, like, my wife thinks I'm crazy. She's like, but soup can be really filling, and I was like, no, it's not filling. So like, make sure you've got like, you know, I don't know, like like if you drink a lot of coffee and stuff like that as well, make sure you bring caffeine with you. You know, like you need to prevent any like little nightmare things, because trust me, if you're playing 3 games of Warhammer one after another and it's like 9 hours, it's actually kind of exhausting. Like, you wouldn't think it, but you're on your feet for 9 hours. You have to be switched on mentally for 9 hours, and you need to be, you know, you need to be like making decisions at the highest level. I'd also say, like, if you're serious, like, I know that some tournaments are at like bars and stuff, but if you're serious, I'd probably avoid alcohol as well. But hey, if you just want to have fun, you know, alcohol's good, but not if you're going seriously, right? But yeah, I mean, I think we actually did a video on the Grotz channel about like how you should prepare for a tournament or anything like that, and like there's a few things like that where it's like, make sure you've maybe got food, drinks, you're organized. I also hate being rushed, so like you want to be there early. You maybe want to just practice making sure that you play reasonably quickly as well, because you know you'll have a set amount of time for your games and stuff like that. So just knowing your list and basically never having to refer to the codex or anything that will slow things down. Probably a good idea. I'm sure some other people in chat have some tournament advice, but that's some of the basics that I would give you, I guess. But yeah, I've definitely been to tournaments before where they said like, oh, we provide lunch, and then like lunch has either been like not enough for me, like I guess I have a reasonably high metabolism and like I need quite a lot of food, or I'll like get headaches and not perform at my best and stuff like that. Maybe even take some paracetamol with you as well, actually, because if you get like a migraine or anything during a game, that'll slow you down a bit, right? Look at these friggin' heavy intercessors. This one's already got the barrel drilled. I didn't even have to drill it. How good. Should clear the situation is to bring some bread to dip in your soup. I don't even know if I think bread dipped in a soup is a valid meal, DTM, honestly. Like, I just don't rate it. That doesn't... There's a few soups I've had in my life that have been really good, but for the most part, if someone offers me soup, it's like, blech, whatever. You know, you guys know Andrew from my stream. Andrew is like, I don't know what you call the opposite of a vegetarian, but Andrew is the complete opposite of the vegetarian. I'll give you an example, right? It's like, Andrew doesn't think a meal is a meal if it doesn't have meat in it. I shit you not. Like, he is the opposite of a vegetarian. Like, a meal to him is only a meal if it contains meat. So like, if you wanted to make like pasta or something and put like corn mince in it, because we actually eat quite a lot of corn mince and stuff in our house, because, which, I don't know if you have corn in America, but in the UK, corn is basically just like, I don't know, it's like vegetarian mince. So I don't know how they make it, but yeah, I actually don't have no idea how they make it. I think it's like yeast or something, right? It like grows. Yeah, what the fuck? How do they make corn? I'm gonna have to Google this because I sound like a right idiot. I eat it all the time as well. What is corn? It's spelled Q-U-O-R-N. It's a naturally sourced super protein. It's primarily sold in Europe, but it's available in 14 countries. What's it actually made of? It's a fungus. It's a fungus that grows in the soil, and they use it as like a chicken substitute or something. But honestly, like, if you have a really good, like, if you make a really good meal and you put like lots of different ingredients in there, like, you know, like if there's lots of like kidney beans and peppers and tomatoes and you've got chili powder and all this sort of nonsense in, like if you've made like a really good chili or something, you'd be hard pushed to know it's not real meat in there, right? But like Andrew's like, he wouldn't even touch it. He'd be like, what? It's fake meat? No, I'm not interested. Which is kind of funny, but you know, so I guess his opinion is if it's not got meat in it, he doesn't think it's a meal. Well, for me, it's soup. I don't think soup's a meal. Hey, us Scots are weird, I guess. Meat is better for veggies, but I love meat. Well, I mean, yeah, I love meat, but apparently it's really bad for the planet. It creates a lot of, is it CO2 or, I don't know. I read that like the steak is apparently really, like steak, which I think every meat eater probably think steak is their favorite meat, right? But apparently, like, raising cattle is apparently like really bad for the planet because of all the methane or something. So we eat corn like 2 or 3 times a week, partly because of the planet, but partly because it also freezes really well, and we always fucking used to throw meat out every week because we'd always forget about it. We always get the dates messed up, so we're a mixed household. So I'll eat vegetarian meals absolutely fine. I just won't do soup. So if I go to if I'm coming to your Warhammer tournament and you're planning on serving soup for lunch, level up your lunch because it's chili a meal. In the UK we would call chili like chili con carne, right? So it's like it would be chilies, mince, like stock, tomatoes, peppers, beans, all like in a pan and all cooked up together. And so basically, like, it would be rice with like it's not like a chili sauce like you would buy, but it's more like a, I'm sure it's more like something you would get in Taco Bell. I don't know what they would call it, what they would put in a taco at Taco Bell, but it's like basically the contents of the taco with like the mince and the vegetables and all that. We would sometimes just call that chili. Meat is very energy inefficient to grow. Yeah, I know. That's why my kids will be raised to have like non-meat a couple of times a week, and I don't think it's bad for them at all. Speak for yourself, picking a fungus over soup. Yeah, but I mean, it's a fungus that tastes like chicken, man. It literally tastes of chicken. It is funny how all the vegetarian things like that are flavoured after the meat, you know? It's not like you get them, like, they're always flavoured. That's the thing that's kind of funny. Like, could they not put another taste into them? I'm making you hungry, Jimmy? I'm sorry. Probably making myself hungry. I was in the gym for like 2 hours today. Like craving protein. What's everyone working on tonight? What's top of people's to-do lists since the balance data slate dropped? Like, I know I'm doing heavy intercessors. I never really ran heavy intercessors, so I'm probably going to run them like in my next list just a couple of times and see how I feel about them. I don't really know how I feel about them, that's why I'm going to run them. Is anyone else jumping on anything that's like unorthodox? I guess I'm going to run the biologist aggressor combo and see if I can make that work. I think that could be kind of nasty, so I'm definitely going to give that a try as well. I guess that's I think that's one priority. I think the heavy intercessors are first priority, and maybe the biologist aggressors for me are second priority. The data on the anti-meat the anti-meat movement is propaganda. Okay, I mean, there's always someone who's going to be negative about it. I mean, I don't know. Us humans are sure doing a lot of stuff to fuck the planet up, I'll tell you that. We're doing our best. Yeah, we really are doing our best. I just want jump intercessors to be good, that's all I want. I think everybody wants. Do you rate tomato soup and grilled cheese? Yeah, I actually do. How do you Tell you what I like to do, Todd, is I like to make grilled cheese and then put ketchup on top of the grilled cheese. That's the next level there. I mean, tomato soup with grilled cheese is fine. But yeah, put ketchup on the grilled cheese. That's the way forward. I still want to do a beans on toast video for the channel at some point, because people don't understand how beans on toast. Do you have an airbrush? No, I don't have an airbrush. The only place I could really do the airbrush in my house, I feel like, is my garage. And my garage is my gym. So I don't really have... Like, the garage is absolutely full of crap. Like, kids' clothes and bikes and kids' toys that we don't use that we're trying to sell. So, like, with my gym stuff in there as well, then there's literally no space. So, I mean, I could airbrush up here, but I don't think I want the particles and stuff in the same room as my computer and all that, and I've got a lot of other stuff in here. So yeah, no, in an ideal world I'd have a nice space for an airbrush, but in reality probably never going to get one, I guess. So I'm 100% by hand. Hey, if you saw the photos of all the Blood Angel stuff I've painted by hand, it's a lot. Like, I've painted like 16,000 points or something by hand, so I'll just keep plucking away. I'm in no rush, I guess. Well, no major rush. Maybe a little bit of a minor rush, I guess. Yeah, the ketchup is the British kind. What's the difference between British ketchup and American ketchup? I've been to America a few times. What brand is American ketchup? Like, I'm sure I've had American ketchup. Do you get Heinz or do you get Hellmann's, or what brand is American ketchup? Beans on Weetabix, is that a thing? I know I've done beans and cheese on toast before. That's good. Genuinely quite like that, actually. Heinz? Okay, right, so imagine, so the only difference is, I believe, between like Heinz ketchup and the ketchup that we typically get in Britain is our ketchup has a lot more vinegar in it, right? But you guys don't put salt and vinegar on like French fries, right? Whereas like, when we go to a shop to buy French fries, and we just call them chips, we literally always drown them in salt and vinegar. Like, if they don't have salt and vinegar on them, we're like, why are you even eating these? Like, they're just fried potatoes, right? So it's just like, our ketchup's just got more vinegar in it usually. You can buy Heinz ketchup over here if you want. Like, that is an option, but it's not my favorite. Like, I want more vinegar in my ketchup. But then maybe I just love vinegar, so it could just be that. Like, it's a rite of passage, I think, in Scotland anyway, to drown your chips or your French fries in salt and vinegar. American ketchup has a lot of high fructose corn syrup in it. Oh, right, because you guys put corn syrup on like everything. Corn syrup is banned in the UK, I believe. It's got too much. I think it's got too much sugar in it or something for our health standards to approve. So we don't. So like, American Mountain Dew is quite a bit different from like Mountain Dew here in the UK. I think it's just got a lot less sugar in it. Maybe it'll be the sugar content. More vinegar makes sense for the UK palate. Yeah, I don't know. I found a lot, like, I'm sure I had a chili when I was in America, and they put like sugar into the chili. Like, it was the same recipe as like the chili that I would make here, you know, like, so I'll make a chili, like, I'd have like, so let's say I've got like, I don't know, 300 or 400, I was gonna say, we do everything in grams, you guys don't do grams, you do like pounds, but like 300 or 400 grams of like meat. Let me see, how many 400 grams as pounds, or ounces, I guess. So 400 grams is like a pound, right? So like I would have a pound of like minced beef, and then I would like cut up like a whole like green pepper and a red pepper, and like cut up an onion, and then I'd have like a can of kidney beans, and I'd have some chili sauce. What else would go into a chili that would be good? You could put carrots in there if you wanted. What else would we put in? Tomato puree, probably. Actually, yeah, you put in some tomato puree. Probably put in some tinned tomatoes as well, yeah. So you do all that, and you get it in a pan, and you cook it all up, and then you serve it with like a plate of rice, right? But then in America, you guys would add like 400 grams of brown sugar to it, and it's like, we just wouldn't do that, I guess. Like, for us, it would be fine without the sugar, but like, I guess in America, it would just, you would add sugar? I don't really know. I mean, generally sugar makes things taste better, sure. But like, I don't know if I need, like, I don't know if I need chili to be that sweet, I guess. If I went to the chippy, what would I get on it? Get on what, sorry? Chips. If I went to a chippy, I would get salt and vinegar on my chips. Yeah, of course I would. Mountain Dews, we don't allow much cap. Yeah, I mean, I guess over here, like, you even have to show your ID now for buying like energy drinks. Like, if you go to the checkout and you buy an energy drink, sometimes they'll have to come and do an ID check on you. It's like, I'm just buying a can of, like, for me, like, I often go hiking and stuff. So like, if I'm going hiking anywhere, I literally always take some Red Bull with me, just because it's like, I always find like, if I just neck a Red Bull, it just gives me like you have that phrase in America called like a second wind, where it's just like, you know, you're exhausted, and then you get your like second wind. So I always carry like a can of Red Bull every single time I go on a hike. And like, if I'm struggling at some point, I'll just be like, right, let me just get a Red Bull, smash it. I guess what I mean by smash it is like drink the whole can in like 5 seconds. Or just down the can, right? And then like 10 minutes later, I just get this burst of energy. Like, if you go to the supermarket now and buy a Red Bull, they'll ID check you to see if you're 21. Red Bull's super processed though. I think Red Bull's the same like, Red Bull's the same ingredients everywhere, right? Red Bull does not taste like, it just has such an artificial, I like Red Bull, I genuinely do like Red Bull, but it's such an artificial taste, right? Like, there's all the caffeine and the taurine and the sugar and stuff, right? Like, I don't think they change the Red Bull recipe from country to country. Anyone from Texas just rolled over. Why would you not eat the chili? Do you want me to find you a chili recipe and tell you what's in, like a UK chili recipe? Why would you not eat it? What's wrong with it? And trust me, it's good. I might be missing like 1 or 2 ingredients, but I was pretty close with what I said. Probably just missing like some spices to finish it off. Red Bull in the US is better than in Europe. Is it really different in the US? It can't be, because it tastes so artificial in Europe. What's different about Red Bull in America to Europe? I thought they were the same recipe, honestly. I mean, it tastes super artificial here in the UK. This all started because the guy was like, what should I take to the Warhammer tournament? You should take a can of Red Bull with you. When you need that, when you absolutely positively need to win the next game of Warhammer and you're exhausted, that's when you want that can of Red Bull. Oh, you should hurt eating it? Well, I mean, you can throw as much spice in the chili as you want. Like, you could cut up some regular chilies and put them in there, and then you could, like, if you've got a favorite hot sauce, you could definitely just put your hot sauce into the chili recipe as well. Like, there'd be no issue with that. I've had that Da Bomb hot sauce before, and I've had Naga chili spiced nuts before, and the Naga chili nuts were no, is it the Naga one? It was like 200,000 Scovilles. That's pretty much my limit. Like, anything over like 100, like, I don't think I enjoyed the 200,000 Scoville chilies, to be honest. So probably like about 100,000 Scovilles is probably where I sort of draw the line on heat. David, what's happening? Yeah, habanero is fine. Ghost pepper, I think, is going maybe one step too far for me. Carolina Reaper, yeah, maybe that's what I tried, but yeah, no, I definitely had some at 200,000, and that was way too much. 200,000, like, I didn't eat much of it at all, and my stomach was just not happy with me for the rest of the day. Like, it was just like I just had stomach ache. I literally had like one bite, so I was like, yeah, I don't, my body isn't trained for. But I went to Buffalo Wild Wings when I was in America, and we had habanero there, and that was fine. So I guess I can manage habanero, but probably not much spicier than that. I really like Buffalo Wild Wings. People told me it was like a shit place to eat, but I liked it. I mean, it's just chicken wings, right? I'd go there again for sure. But then it was a sports bar, and I'm into my sports, so... Flaming Hot Monster Muncher says, David, I've seen some people do mad stuff with like Flaming Hot Cheetos and stuff. Like, they'll fry chicken inside Cheetos, they break them all up and stuff. I don't know if I fancied. I just think it's a bit weird having like potato chips with as like the dressing for your chicken, but I guess some people do it. I do see sometimes, like, there's those people that do those chili eating contests and stuff. I don't know, man. The pain and the sweats does not seem worth it to me. Sorry about Giants this year. Yeah, I saw they lost 40-0. And I was like, wow. Okay, I've not been following Giants much, but... I mean, 40-0 is... I don't know if I've ever seen anyone get beat that badly in American football ever. Yeah, like, I think in the Buffalo Wild Wings that I visited, it had more large screen TVs than like, oh, what's the, like, Best, like, it had more like 50-inch plasma TVs than like Best Buy, honestly. So I was like, man, we don't have any bars like that in the UK, right? Like, if you go into a sports bar, like, you could be a big sports bar, like a sports bar that takes like 100, 200 people. There's like 5 TVs. Buffalo Wild Wings, 50 people, there's like 50 TVs. I was like, and they're all showing different shit. In the UK, a sports bar, every TV is showing the same stuff. Like, there's one game on. Whereas, like, I think we went to the Buffalo Wild Wings in Seattle? Yeah, I think it was Seattle, like right on the main I was going to say, like, right in the center of Seattle, like, I'm trying to think what else is in the center of Seattle. There's a monorail in Seattle that takes you up to the Space Needle. So we went on, like, the Buffalo Wild Wings, which is, like, maybe, I think it was, like, maybe 5 minutes walk from the monorail. Like, it was super central. It's like, honestly, it's got so many TVs, it's ridiculous. Arsenal play tomorrow, Jimmy. 12:30 kickoff. So I need to be up, and the kids need finished lunch and everything by 12:30. Because at 12:30, I'm busy for 2 hours. Hot Ones, yes, the Hot Ones channel. I think it's called Now We Feast. That is a brilliant YouTube channel. I love that channel so much. The guy that does that, he's a legend. I actually want to buy their you know, Rezio, they sell, it's like $150. They sell like the 10 hot sauces that they do on the show. Because the premise of the show is they interview someone, and when they interview them, they work their way through 10 chicken wings from like least spicy to the hottest. I would do that. I'd 100% do that. If they want, they don't want me for their show because they want like people like Harry Kane or Barack Obama or something, right? But if they wanted me for their show, I'd 100% do that. But I think it's such a cool concept, and I actually, one of these years, when I have $150 sitting around that I don't need for anything, which never friggin' happens, but when it happens, I'm gonna buy that 10 hot sauces from that Hot Ones show because it's so cool. Serenade posted a ring. Are you from Texas, Serenade, then? Which part of Texas? Because I have a friend that lives in Austin. He grew up like half an hour from me. Nottingham has Burkler that has dozens of 15 screens and a big projection screen. Well, I live in the north of Scotland and we ain't got shit like that. So, yeah, I guess some places in the UK do have that. You're right, Pinky. But way up north in Scotland, we don't have all... I guess we just don't have the population to justify it. Like, the town I live in has got like a 30 or 40,000 population. It really is quite small. Oh, you live near Detroit? Okay. Yeah, I think I saw... I think one of my favourite episodes of the Hot Ones was, I think Paul Rudd was on it. And I think even Gordon Ramsay was on it. Gordon Ramsay was quite funny because he was like, you know, he is a food guy. So it's quite funny seeing him like rate the hot sauces and just being like, yeah, this is shit. Oh, it's 4:30 away at Everton? Oh, I thought it was 12:30. Alright, I mean, I can wait till 4:30. Thanks for the clarification. I would have been sitting down at 12:30. I've been rushing all morning to get ready for 12:30. I live in a big city. Dude, I don't feel like it's a big city at all. No, it's not. It really isn't. I mean, my nearest Games Workshop is 75 miles away, right? How far am I from Glencoe? You did spell it wrong. It's 2 words, I believe. I am like... I'm saying this off the top of my head. I think about an hour. Because I think I can drive to Aviemore, which is real near Glencoe, in like 45, 50 minutes. I could be wrong. But yeah, I'm right up there. I'm very, very far up north in Scotland. It's quiet though, so like I can't complain about that. I do like the fact it's quiet up here. So I guess you have to take... You can't have a pub with, I guess, 50 flat screen TVs and then have a quiet town, right? Like, those two things don't mix. So yeah. But no, I love America. My dad, I don't know if I said to you guys, my dad used to own a house in Orlando. And we used to go to Orlando like every year when my dad owned the house there. It was amazing. So every year we would vacation. And basically it was our holiday home, right? So we had it for like about 10 years and we just vacationed in Orlando like every year. I don't think I'd ever be able to do that with my kids, but man, that was good. Good times. One of those things where you don't know how lucky you are when you had it, right? So tell me, I bet a bunch of you guys must have watched yesterday's video about the Sanguinary Guard and the Death Company. Anyone? I was going to say, like, at the end of the video yesterday, I was basically asking, was like, because Sanguinary Guard are stuck with, like, strength 5 swords, and I know there is ways to give them +1 strength, and I know there's another way to give them another +1 strength, and I know you can also red rampage them, but, like, let's assume that you can't do any of that, right? Let's assume that they, I guess, kill, if your captain was leading them, they kill your captain, or let's assume you've got no CP for stratagems. What are Sanguinary Guard good for these days? Like, because that's what I was trying to say at the end of the video yesterday. I was like, for me, the way I've always seen Sanguinary Guard is like, they're supposed to kill enemy elite units, right? Like, they're basically like, if they had to have a role, they're like elite hunters, right? You know, like, if you got to the battlefield and there's an elite unit on the enemy's team, that would be what the Sanguinary Guard are actually going to go kill, because that's what they're there for. That's what they do. They're the elite Blood Angels unit that kill the enemy elites. And it's now I'm like looking at them and like, well, Sanguinary Guard kill trash units, but they don't kill anything else. I mean, they kill stuff when you pay for Red Rampage, but my question, I think my question around that is like, if they kill stuff with red, like, why should you have to burn CP or special abilities every single turn? Because a couple of people came on the video, and people are entitled to their opinions, don't get me wrong. So some people were like, oh, but if you play Red Rampage, they're actually really good. I was like, yeah, they are pretty decent when you play Red Rampage because of the amount of attacks. But I guess my point is, like, should I have to? Like, should the unit be bad until we play Red Rampage? You know, like, is this, like, other armies don't have that problem where it's like, let's try and think of an example. Like, imagine, like, we're not going like, oh, well, Angron's rubbish until you play, like, such and such, and then he's really, really good. You know, and that's the situation it is with the Sanguinary Guard. It's like, these guys are rubbish. Like, genuinely rubbish. Until you play Red Rampage. They're going to be even worse now if that Oath of Moment change has gone through, right? If that's what's happening to Oath of Moment, and it's losing its rerolls to wound, then they're going to be absolutely dire. I don't know. Compare them to Crusaders and Sword Brethren. Sword Brethren get 3 damage weapons, though. I don't know. When I looked at the Sword Brethren, I honestly haven't looked at them in a while, but I thought they were better. But maybe I just like 3 damage. I just see 3 damage and I'm like, yes, that's what we need. I miss Thunderhammers. Maybe the upcoming Jump Captain will make the Sanguinary Guard good. I mean, he might help. He might. Hard to say, innit? I don't think there's a coherent defense for Sanguinary Guard, just the sentimental one. Yeah, and I'm trying to look past the sentimental, I guess. I mean, I have to spend 2 CP every time I fire my Terminators, John. Some units are just like that. You're talking about T-Sun's Terminators. Why are you paying 2 CP? You giving them, like, exploding 6s, or...? I actually don't know the rules for the T-Sun's Terminators at this moment, DTM. Can you afford to spend 2 CP every time you fire your Terminators, though? That was my question, really, with the Sanguinary Guard, is like... well, like, if we can all agree that they need Red Rampage, then it almost makes me feel like Dante's not fit for purpose, because Dante doesn't let you get the free Red Rampage, and so you're just, every time, if you have Dante attached to the Sanguinary Guard, every single turn you need to spend a point on Red Rampage, and that's just one squad. Can you afford to do that? Because I feel like in my list, I very rarely at the moment I'm finishing the game with any CP whatsoever. Like, maybe I finish the game with 1 CP. I sure as hell don't have 5 CP to play 5 turns of Red Rampage on Sanguinary Guard, and arguably if they get targeted I might need to interrupt, or I might need to fight on death, and then at that point I definitely don't have CP for Red Rampage. I think they should have changed them so that you can only have 1 squad of Sanguinary Guard in your army, honestly. Like, James just hit the nail on the head. They're like a unit where there's only 30 across the whole chapter. Well, then just give them rules that makes them unique. I mean, most people have more than... I was going to say, most people have 30 of them, because that's the canon amount, I guess. But I think they should have just given them really strong rules. Like make them almost like... make them almost like as strong as Custodian Guard, but you can only have 1 squad in your army. That's how I would have done it. Make them like an epic hero, because that would have limited them, right? Can they do that? Could they have made them an epic hero, or is it epic hero released to character only? I did see a video where someone was using the Dreadnought to yeet Centurions. The thing about Centurions is, even if you do the yeet them, you still need to make a 9-inch charge, and I kind of hate making 9-inch charges. Yeah, I think the Sanguinary Guard just need reworked, honestly. Because they haven't been able to balance them now for like 3 or 4 years. I was going to say, most of the time they've been underpowered, and then like the one time they were pretty good with Armor of Contempt. They won the Las Vegas Open, didn't they? So it's like they just haven't... Sanguinary Guard are either auto take 30 or take none. Like, there's no in between. They haven't managed to find any semblance of balance with them. Like, people either take 30 or they take none. But I mean, I kind of stayed away from the taking 30 point just because I like making my own lists and I like doing things a little bit different from everybody else. But I mean, when they were really strong, I was running 2 7s. I guess maybe 30 is an exaggeration. Some people would run 3 7s. That was probably the most meta squad, right? 3 times 7 Sanguinary Guard, but you can't even run them in 7s anymore, and they were best in 7s, I feel like. But I mean, now they're probably... I was going to say, you probably want them in a 10, but even in a 10, I don't think they're worth it. Miguel says I'm too stubborn to switch from Astaroth. Astaroth's garbage at the moment, dude. You'd be better off running just a regular chaplain than Astaroth, I think, honestly. The regular chaplain's the same points. You'll do 3 mortal wounds sometimes when you start fighting, and you'll give the whole squad +1 to wounds, so you don't have to worry about playing Red Rampage. I'm really disappointed with Astaroth's rules this edition. I think he's absolute garbage. He was like, yeah, it's weird how that's worked. Some characters that had all the attacks under the sun, and you know, he had a really powerful weapon and everything. Now he's just absolute garbage, I feel like. Because he had like a 4 damage weapon with like 7 attacks or something. Are we not going to talk about force power level? I mean, I guess we know about force power level, and I don't think they're planning on changing that. Like, if all the points costs are being released in those field manuals, like, I know a lot of people complained about the force power level, but it doesn't feel like they've done anything about it. But someone said Astra's still better than Mephiston. It's hard to be worse than Mephiston. He's the two characters that we have Primaris, Mephiston and Dante, which are arguably two of the most iconic and should be strongest characters, are the most garbage characters that we have. Because Dante, I think, gets eclipsed by a captain with a jump pack, and yeah, I don't know what you do with Mephiston, honestly. He attaches to assault intercessors, which are mainly a chainsword unit. Yeah, you just can't. Yeah, Mephiston can't join anyone meaningful. I actually don't know if him joining Blade Guard veterans would be all that meaningful. I mean, I guess it would but then therein is the problem, DTM or Reziel. Then you have another unit that also needs Red Rampage every single turn it fights. And I think that's the problem that Blood Angels have at the moment, is like, if you're fighting into, let's say, an armor heavy list, or a list with a lot of elites and stuff that are high toughness, every single engagement you need to make, you need to be getting Red Rampage, and at some point that's just going to either cost too many CP or just not be feasible anymore because another unit's already got Red Rampage. So based on that, it's like, I don't know how you can be strong, because everybody needs strats all the time. He's just like a stronger Judicaire. I think I love Mephiston. Like, I ran him in that tournament last edition, when everybody told me not to run him. Now I think I'm not even slightly interested in him. I just think if I was going to run a character, I would run the Judicaire and attach him to Blade Guard. I think that'd be better than anything Assault Intercessors can do. Mephiston gets Lone Operator. Does he? Did I miss that? Does he really have Lone Operator? I don't know if that helps him all that much. I don't think that's enough for me to consider taking him, honestly. Oh, you think he would be good if he had Lone Operator? I don't know. I mean, we already got the Sanguinary. I just don't know what Mephiston brings. But the interesting thing is, like, if you go back a little bit in time, Mephiston's sword used to be strength 10 with +1 to wound, which meant like it wounded everything in the game on 2s. There's nothing it couldn't wound. Oh, yeah, I think there's nothing it couldn't wound. What was toughness 10 in the old version of the game? Anything? Like, I think even like a toughness 9 great and clean one last edition, he would wound it on 2s, right? And then all of a sudden, like, now he just wounds like a Land Raider on 5s. Even with his +1 to charge and stuff like that. He wounds like a Bloodthirster or what's the other one called? Bellicor. Wounds them on like 5s or 6s. I think it would be 5s to wound. It's just like, what? Like, I think last edition you could play him because although he was swingy with his psychic powers and stuff, he could throw out a bunch of damage in melee. And maybe not every turn or maybe not every game, but he could do it because he had all those attacks hitting on 2s. Now it's like his attacks just... I guess the Assault Intercessors let him reroll some ones, but I don't think it's good. Good night, Eternal Crusader. Yeah, I'm off to bed in a minute, guys, as well. I'm actually really tired. It's been a long day. Thanks for tuning in tonight, by the way. Oh, I suppose that all the transhuman effects. Yeah, okay. So there was a few matchups and stuff where transhuman would come in. You're right, DTM. You're always right, dude. You know you're always right. We're lucky to have you always here on this channel, keeping us right. Is it a Blood Angels list if you have just the Librarian Dreadnought and one squad of Death Company? I mean, it is. Like, statistically, it has to be. You can't have a Librarian Dreadnought and it not be Blood Angels. I mean, I only have 2 Blood Angel specific units. The one squad of Death Company and the Death Company Dreadnought. And if I'm changing my list, I'm possibly just changing out the Death Company Dreadnought for a Librarian Dreadnought, so I'll still only have 2 Blood Angels units. I get none of our special characters. I get no Sanguinary Guard. I get, you know, I guess 1 special Dreadnought. I mean, the second you add the one squad of Death Company, technically, I said this the other day though, like, I think people shouldn't be bashing on other people, because I got bashed on last edition a lot when I ran like a triple Dreadnought list, and people were like, are you even Blood Angels because you're running 3 Dreadnoughts? And I was like, well, you know, I'm trying to think what I ran with that. I'm sure I ran like, because I didn't run Dante either, I ran like my bike captain, didn't I? So I ran like a squad of Sanguinary Guard, 2 Redemptors. I think was the Sanguinary. I didn't run any Death Company in that list either. So maybe the only Blood Angels unit I had in my list, the Blood Angels specific unit, was 5 Sanguinary or 7 Sanguinary Guard. It would have been 1 squad of Sanguinary Guard. That was it. Every other model was a Space Marine model. And I took that to a tournament and I did just fine. I actually was basically 1 game away from winning that tournament, and that was Blood Angels. And I didn't care what anybody said. You got a Ball Predator as well? There you go. But yeah, I think at the moment, with the way that the rules are, I think we should be like... anyone... like... let's just say... I don't think this is going to happen. But let's just say I managed to take that armor list that I've been building. Like, let's say I take that to the GT that I'm going to in like 6 weeks' time. And let's say I win the GT. I don't think I'm taking that armor list. I don't think I'd win the GT. I don't think I'd win the GT regardless whether or not I take the armor list or not. I just, like, but if I did, hypothetically, when I come back, as a community of Blood Angels players, we should all be saying, like, well done, because you won a GT with Blood Angels. It didn't matter, there was a lot of armor in the list. Hey, the 10th edition rule set kind of needs there to be armor in the list. But I guess my point I'm trying to make is, like, we should be celebrating people winning tournaments with Blood Angels, regardless of what the lists look like, right? That would be the way to boot. I feel like that's what we should be doing. And not saying like, oh, you only took 1 squad of Death Company, can you even call yourself Blood Angels? Yes, because you've got Death Company. Hell, you could run an army list that hasn't got any Blood Angels models in it, but you're using the Blood Angels detachment, Sons of Sanguinius. If you won a tournament using Sons of Sanguinius but no Blood Angels units, like let's say you were using all Vanguard veterans, you know, 3 squads of Vanguard veterans, 3 squads of Assault Marines, 3 squads of aggressors, all with a biologist or something, right? You win the tournament with that, no Blood Angels units. We shouldn't, you know. I think it's fine. Put it this way, I'm not going to berate anyone for the units that they pick. I pick the units that I like to play, you pick the units you like to play. If you send me an army list with the units you like to play and they're not the ones that I play, I'll give you my 2 cents, but you build your list, not me. So if you want to say like, John, I think you're an idiot, you don't know anything, I'm going to build the list this way, then that's kind of what this channel's always been about. I'll give you my feedback, but I'm not gospel. Just some random guy trying to win games with Blood Angels, or trying to finally win a GT with Blood Angels. Blood Angels use tanks. They have to fight them in all kinds of theaters of war. Yeah, well, that's the thing that could be, is that you don't know what theater, you don't know what, like, the High Fleet Leviathan tendril just like moved through and destroyed everything. So you could have some backwater planet where all the Blood Angels have left are Sterngard. You know, still Blood Angels, right? I wanted to get a bit more painting done, but I'm honestly super tired. You can do it. I believe in you, homie. My only friend, thank you. Yeah, I do think at one point I will win a GT. I mean, I've been to the top table, like, in 9th edition, I think I got to the top table 3 times. And I never won a tournament, so... you know, like, my win rate at the top table, I guess, is 0 for 3. At some point, I'll win a game. At some point, I'll win one of those games and win the tournament. But, I mean, I think if we go back to some of those games, the channel was a lot smaller, and I put a lot more pressure on myself to try and win, because I wanted people to think that I was a good player. So I put a lot of pressure on myself to win, you know, like, to win the games, because I wanted people to think, like, oh, that this is John and he knows what he's talking about for Blood Angels because he's winning tournaments. So I probably actually lost some of those games because I put pressure on myself to win the game. And having done YouTube now for like 3 years, I still get people that will comment on my videos and tell me I don't know what I'm you know, I don't know what I'm talking about. And you know, if someone says that, that's their prerogative. They can say that, you know, it's the internet. Everyone's got a voice on the internet. If you've ever seen the Jay and Silent Bob movie, it's like that bit in the movie where he's like, apparently, what was it? It was something like, everybody has used their voice on the internet to bitch about movies. It's the same thing, you know, like I occasionally get voice, you know, like, you know, you don't know what you're talking about. So it's like people still, even if I won a tournament, people would say that I don't know what I'm talking about. So honestly, at this point now, I just don't care. I just like to win a tournament one time to say I won it, right? Look at this though. Don't know if you can read it. That's the first place. So that was the team tournament. That was a win. I'd like to do it solo though, this edition. Good day, Hell's Ghetto. How you doing? Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna head to bed. Army list show tomorrow night. Yes, a bunch of people have actually submitted army lists this week. So I'll be live for like an hour tomorrow night, 8:30 UK time. We'll go over like 4 or 5 people's army lists, see if we can give them some feedback, and see if we can help them make any improvements. If you've never submitted an army list before and you want me to review your army list live on stream, then what you need to do is basically leave me a comment on last week's army list show, with your list that you would like looked at on stream. I can't tell you exactly when I'll get round to it because I do like 4 lists a week, but I'll get to it at some point. Good night, DTM. Enjoy your midnight feast. Alright, in the future I'll try not to speak too much about food in the evening. It's been a fun stream, guys. Enjoy your night. I'll catch you tomorrow to look at army lists. Take care. Thank you for the super chats and the support as always. Do appreciate it. See you later. Good night.